Hello, today we are going to start a new chapter which is support reactions. Firstly, we'll understand about beam, then we'll see types of beams, types of loads and types of supports. Beam होता है हमारा structural member which is subjected to transverse loads और उसकी जो length है it is large in comparison with its cross sectional dimensions. बीम पे ट्रांसवर्स लोड्स लगते हैं और जो उसकी लेंथ होती है इट इज़ मोर कंपेयर्ड टू इट्स विड्थ एंड डेप्थ. वी यूज़ बीम्स इन रेसिडेंशियल बिल्डिंग्स, मल्टी स्टोरेड कॉम्प्लेक्सेस, इंडस्ट्रियल बिल्डिंग्स, ब्रिजेस हो गया. लोड जो है वो स्लैब से या फ्लोर से, वॉल से, यहाँ से कहाँ ट्रांसफ़र होता है? बीम में ट्रांसफ़र होता है और बीम से इट विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड टू कॉलम. And because of this load, beam will be subjected to reactions at the supports. So the load is transferred from slab, wall, floor to beams, and from beams it is transferred to columns, and because of this load, reactions will be developed at the supports. And here we'll be seeing what are the different types of beams, types of loads, types of supports, and the reactions that are occurring at the supports. Now let's start with types of beams and types of supports. The first type of beam is simply supported beam, which is, as you can see here, both the ends of the beams are resting on supports. Now if I say about the supports, then one end there is pinned support and on the other end we're having a roller support. For that we'll need to understand the types of supports. Here this is my simply supported beam in which the beam is resting on supports on both the ends and it is free to rotate. Let's see the first type of support, which is a simple support. Now in this type of support, beam is just simply supported on this support. This type of support we call it as simple support and it is subjected to just one reaction, which is vertical reaction. बीम और सपोर्ट के बीच में कोई भी कनेक्शन नहीं होगा and at this type of support only vertical reaction will be produced. Then the second type of support, which is a roller support, here there is a hinge and in this type of support rollers जो होते हैं they are placed below the beam और beam जो है it can slide over the rollers. रिएक्शन जो लगेगा वो परपेंडिकुलर डायरेक्शन में लग रहा है विच इज़ वर्टिकल रिएक्शन. एंड दिस टाइप ऑफ सपोर्ट नॉर्मली हमें एट द एंड ऑफ अ ब्रिज हम प्रोवाइड करते हैं, जिसकी वजह से इफ़ देर इज़ ब्रेकिंग फोर्सेस ऑफ व्हीकल्स एंड टेम्परेचर फोर्सेस, ब्रिज स्लैब जो है इट कैन स्लाइड ओवर द रोलर सपोर्ट और जो डैमेज है टू द ब्रिज पियर दैट कैन बी अवॉइडेड. लेट्स सी अनदर टाइप ऑफ बीम which is a fixed beam, and here as you can see on this side and on this side, that is on both the sides it is fixed. We can also call it as a built-in beam. It is fixed to resist rotation. Let me just write this. These are my fixed ends. They will resist rotation, that is there will be no rotation here, and this type of beam is also known as built-in beam. Let's see another type of support, which is fixed support. So here this beam will be completely fixed at the end in the wall or in the support, and beam can't rotate at the end. Reactions that will be developed are vertical reaction, then this horizontal reaction, a resultant reaction will be produced here, and moment will be produced. So horizontal reaction, vertical reaction, and moment. Then our another type of beam is a cantilever beam. As you can see here, its one end is fixed and another end is a free end. So this is the fixed end and this one is my free end. Another type of beam is a continuous beam. As you can see here, there are more than two supports distributed along the length of the beam. So this type of beam in which there are more than two supports distributed along the length of the beam, that is a continuous beam. Then let's see another type of support, which is a hinged support. Here this is hinge, by which the beam and the support is connected. Beam is able to rotate about the hinge. The reaction that will be developed is vertical, horizontal, and inclined. Inclined, that is the resultant reaction. This beam can't rotate about the hinge, and the reactions developed are vertical and horizontal. Then let's see another type of beam, which is a propped cantilever beam. Before we saw a cantilever beam in which one end was fixed and another end was free. Now this is a propped cantilever beam in which one end is fixed and the other end is having a simple support. So this end is fixed and on this end we are having a support. Then let's see overhanging beam. For overhanging beam we are having overhanging on right side, on left side, and on both sides. We'll see all these three. So this is an overhanging beam. As you can see here in this first diagram, the first portion is extended beyond the support on the right side. So this type of beam is known as overhanging on right side. Then here the another one is on the left side. There is an extended portion beyond the support. So this is overhanging beam on left side. And then on both sides, if we are having, then it will be like this. So here as you can see on the left side and on the right side, on both the sides the beam is extending beyond the supports. So this type of beam is overhanging on both sides. In exam, if you don't want to draw the supports, then you can just show the supports using these arrows. So how many types of beams we are having? Then it is simply supported beam, fixed beam, cantilever beam, continuous beam, propped cantilever beam, and overhanging beam. Then in types of supports, we have simple support, roller support, fixed support, hinge support. Let's see what are the types of loads. We are having three types of loads. The first one is point load, or we call it as concentrated load. I'll just show you with the help of figure. Here this is a beam. We are having two ends where there are supports and the loads are acting, which are W1 and W2. This W1 and W2 we call it as point load or concentrated load. This type of load is just concentrated at one point and that's why it is known as point load. And if we talk about the unit, then the unit is Newton or kilonewton. Suppose say W1 is equal to 20 kilonewton and W2 is equal to 40 kilonewton. Then we can say that 20 kilonewton and 40 kilonewton point load are acting on my beam AB. The next type of load is uniformly distributed load. We can write it as UDL. This type of load is known as uniformly distributed load. A and B, beam is AB, and here this UDL is acting, which is W kilonewton per meter. Uniformly distributed load means that the load will be distributed uniformly on the entire length of the beam. Suppose say the length is 4 meter and W is equal to 20 kilonewton per meter. This means that my total load will be equal to W into L, that is 20 into 4. That is, the total load will be equal to 80 kilonewton. 20 kilonewton per meter, it means कि 20 किलोन्यूटन जितना लोड 1 मीटर लेंथ पे लग रहा है. तो अगर बीम का स्पान 4 मीटर है तो टोटल लोड कितना हो जाएगा 20 इंटू 4, दैट इज़ 80 किलोन्यूटन. देन वी हैव अनदर टाइप ऑफ लोड विच इज़ यूनिफॉर्मली वेरिंग लोड. यूनिफॉर्मली वेरिंग लोड मतलब ये जो लोड होगा दैट विल आइदर ग्रेजुअली इंक्रीज और इट विल ग्रेजुअली डिक्रीज along the length of the beam. As you can see here in the figure that I am drawing, the load is gradually increasing from left end to the right end. I can label this as AB. Here there are supports. So from A to B, the load is gradually increasing, and suppose say the load is W kilonewton per meter. Now if I want to draw gradually decreasing load, then it will be like this from one end to the other end, that is from A to B. The load is gradually decreasing and the load acting here is W kilonewton per meter. Uniformly distributed load is known as UDL and uniformly varying load is known as UVL. UVL, that is uniformly distributed load, we also call it as triangular load. Here we saw the types of supports, types of beams and types of loads. In the next video, we'll see how we can take the moment of the different types of loads and find the support reactions with the help of an example. Thank you.